So Ask Air just dropped a video going into his problems with animated reboots. And this type of vid isn't uncommon in our community, where people go on an "oh, all reboots are trash" rant for about 10 minutes like it's 2016. But this video, I took one look at this thumbnail and knew that this one was special. So as a token black member of the community, let's put our Hotep hats and FD signifier glasses on and get this man cooked.
So the other day I had an epiphany. I was scrolling mindlessly through my phone as one does, and I came across this monstrosity, the Fairly Odd Parents reboot, and it was just as bad as I expected it to be.
Look how they massacred my boy.
Okay, first and foremost, if you're going to make a video talking about how bad reboots are in general, why would the Fairly Odd Parents A New Wish be the example that you use? Literally the one reboot that everyone can collectively agree was actually decent, and you decide to go full force I hate that shit. That's crazy to me. And something that you'll notice in this video as well is that he will make statements without providing a lot of substantiation to them. So when he says that there are mindless dribble plot lines and that he doesn't like the animation, he will never actually explain why those things are a problem to him. So keep that in mind as we watch the rest of this video.
These phenomena are not unique to the Fairly Odd Parents. These symptoms carry on to many remakes and reboots that have sprouted from Hollywood in the last few years, whether it's animated or live action, movie or TV show. And if this were just a one-off thing in media, I probably wouldn't be making this video, but this is a repeated cancer that is spreading to more and more properties, and is only destructive in nature.
Bro, like, we know that a lot of reboots aren't good, but this man is legit acting like he's the first person to notice. He literally the part where he says, if this was just a one-off thing, I wouldn't notice. Like, bro, we know it's not a one-off thing. We know that this is a repeated pattern in Hollywood at large. This video literally does nothing but harp on the same points that we've been making since 2016.
These Disney reboots do more than just rip off the original for monetary gain. No. They actively disrespect the source material while they do it. They have to warp the brand to their liking, whether it's for monetary, social, or storytelling purposes, if you really want to give them that credit.
Okay, this is where the video starts to get into crazy territory to me, because he calls race swapping actively disrespecting the original source material for monetary and social gains. Now, whether you think Hollywood is being original with all the reboots that have been coming out is a non-issue, because yeah, we all know that Hollywood is unoriginal as fuck right now. But I don't see how race swapping a character is actively disrespecting an IP. But I don't see how race swapping is actively disrespecting an IP. Yes, the characters look different than they did before, but they're still the same characters. If you're gonna criticize a reboot, the first thing you should criticize is the story, not how the characters look.
Aim to purposely disrespect the original vision, starting off with the fact that the original creators don't want this kind of stuff, almost ever. We've all heard of how Stephen Hillenburg never really wanted a reboot of SpongeBob, but ever since his late passing, Nick has capitalized on two already, with both thankfully pulling in little to no rating.
Oh, for fuck's sake, not this, oh my god, not this take. Okay, first, before I go into the Stephen Hillenburg shit, can I just say that when he says that almost no creator ever wants a reboot of their shows, he doesn't even put up specific examples of creators who have said that they don't want reboots. He just puts up a photo of every single dude that's created an animated show and said that they would never want a reboot of their show. And it's so crazy because a couple of these creators have made reboots or spin-offs of their own properties. Secondly, on the Stephen Hillenburg shit, honestly, can we just let this man rest? He's been gone since 2018, and nobody fully knows what he would have thought about the reboots that are coming out right now. Yes, we do have testimonies of people like Paul Tibbitt who said that he wouldn't have enjoyed a reboot like this, but there are also people like Vincent Waller that said that he probably would have loved the reboots and that he was aware that they were being developed at the time. At the end of the day, we don't know what Stephen Hillenburg wanted from the series, and we don't know whether he would have liked the reboots or not liked the reboots when they came out, because, well, he's not fucking here, is he? Can we just let this man rest? Because whenever we talk about Stephen Hillenburg now, it feels like we're always talking about the reboots and whether he would have liked them or not, instead of talking about the fact that he literally created the most popular cartoon of the 21st century so far.
Funny, these modern reboots just go back to square one while ignoring all the story arcs that preceded them, with a cheap-looking animation style and much shallower characters.
This goes back to the thing that I said in the beginning of this video where he says shit but doesn't actually substantiate them with examples. He says that these shows have shallower characters and less interesting plotlines, but he doesn't give examples of which ones he's talking about. And while yes, he may be showing them on screen, it would help your case a ton if you actually went into detail about specific ones that you dislike. From the outside looking in on this video, it just seems like you haven't watched a lot of these reboots, which, yeah, isn't good if you're making a whole 7-minute video on animated reboots.
They'll often dish the grand arcs and storylines for a slice-of-life episodic show, bereft of any substance or long-term stakes.
This point is dog shit too. Just because a show is slice of life doesn't mean that it's devoid of substance and stakes. Now, whether you prefer serialized shows that have an ongoing storyline throughout their seasons, or whether you enjoy slice of life episodic shows is completely your opinion. And if you prefer one over the other, that's completely fine. But to say that these shows actively lack substance just because they're slice of life is very disingenuous, because a show doesn't need to be serialized in order to have substance. And it just confuses me why he's talking about this point while showing clips of Rise of TMNT, which to my knowledge actually has a storyline going on throughout it and a whole movie that ties up that storyline.
Part of a reboot is a fan service that you never really have to deliver to the original fans of the old property. You can't just say you're delivering something new for the current generation while abandoning the people who made your franchise what it is by watching all those years ago. Don't ruin our childhoods for your own creative laziness.
They don't have to cater to the old fans if they're making something for an entirely new generation. Because if we're being honest, most of the niggas in the cartoon community are above the age demographic of a lot of these shows, yet we're still talking about them. Heck, I'm about to turn 18 and I just cannot live with the fact that I am out of the age demographic for literally almost every cartoon that isn't adult animated.
When everything is racial, that's the only thing I can see when watching. I never saw Blade as a black character, or Cyborg or Gerald as Static Shock.
Okay, this dude might actually be stupid. This man really just said he never saw Static Shock, Cyborg, and Gerald as black, when growing up in black communities and living black experiences were literally part of their characters' identities. Gerald was a black kid who grew up in the Bronx. Cyborg plays a big part in an episode of Teen Titans where Starfire is implied to be racially abused. And Static Shock has a whole episode dedicated to how his friend's dad is racist. Being black is literally part of the identities of these characters, and to have the audacity to say that you never saw them as black while making this video is crazy to me.
The black female Timmy Turner is clearly just a cheap attempt to reboot this property without any other significant pitches for change.
Also, I just find it so disrespectful that throughout this entire video, he never even mentions Hazel by her name, but instead just calls them Black Timmy Turner, which is just ugh. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just ugh. Again, for someone who claims to have watched the show, you seem very intent on not even mentioning what the character's name is.
A lot of my favorite characters are people of various ethnicities and racial tone.
Okay, so you say that you're a fan of a lot of characters from different ethnicities and racial backgrounds, and one of the characters that you bring up is Uncle Ruckus, the literal coon of the Boondocks. Uncle fucking Ruckus. You're really not helping your case at all, bro.
Original property. Maybe Butch Hartman wants Timmy to be race and gender swapped, which is why he has absolutely no direct involvement in the creative department of the project. I find that unlikely. It's absolutely insulting to ruin a person's original vision of a character just because people want to see themselves on screen.
You saying that Butch Hartman had no direct involvement in the making of A New Wish is provably false, because there is a TikTok of him actively promoting the show.
Hey everybody, I am so thrilled I can finally talk about this. We're making a brand new Fairly Odd Parents animated series.
And he even is an executive producer on the show, so like, did you just not research before you made this video?
These people are too uncreative to create their own original stories, so they need to ruin existing stuff to be able to call themselves inclusive and hip with the times.
Changing the race of a character is not inherently being unfaithful to the original show. Yes, it's different. And yes, if the reboots themselves are actually being unfaithful by changing things that shouldn't have been changed, yeah, maybe you have a point. But why are we still... This is fucking stupid, bro. But why are you sitting here for 7 minutes and acting like a character changing from white to black is the biggest change that could ever happen to a series, and it actively ruins it?
I just despise seeing a person's work be disrespected when they likely sacrificed like hell to turn into a reality. While they're at it, it wouldn't hurt to race swap one more movie, would it?
And obviously he ends the video with that whole, oh, let's race swap black characters and see how people feel about it. Like, I've been recording this shit for 18 minutes and honestly, I'm really tired at this point. Okay, so that was the video, and yeah, I don't think I need to explain myself any more than I have in this video. It's shit. But the most surprising, well, I guess not surprising, but the biggest thing that stood out to me was the response to this video. Because I thought that the general reception this video would receive would be mixed, because the ideas of reboots and race swapping are actually pretty divisive among communities like ours, which, you know, they shouldn't be. But no, everyone in the comments has been absolutely going in on this man. Johnny Two Cellos is in this man's replies, absolutely cooking him, and Awestruck Vox absolutely went off on this man in the Twitter replies. It honestly has been crazy to see. I genuinely don't think that we as a community have come together like this to roast someone in a long time, and it's honestly kind of beautiful. But anyway, I think that's gonna do it for this video. I just want to make it clear that I am not any type of drama or commentary channel, and this is probably the first and last time I will make a video like this where I'm just going off on something recent. This video is not going to be something you're going to see more of. I just thought I'd let you know that. My next video is probably going to be a Clarence video that should be out in a couple days. If you're new to the channel, watch a few of my other videos where I'm not talking about how racist some dude on the internet is. Have a good day and take care.